My friends, this is the breakfast spread at Hotel Novotel, Paris. Hi friends, view of Paris city from our hotel Novotel. Hi friends, this is the lobby of our hotel Novotel in Paris. Hi friends, we are driving through the city of Paris. We'll be now going towards the Arc de Triomphe, which is a commemorative building for the martyrs of the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars, which was completed in the year 1836. It will take about say 10 minutes to reach there. Hi friends, in this video we will go around the city of Paris which is famous as the fashion capital of the world. The 19th century cityscape of Paris is crisscrossed with wide boulevards, that is, a wide city street lined with trees, and the river Seine. Paris is the fifth most populated city in the European Union and the 30th most densely populated city in the world in 2022. Since the 17th century, Paris has been one of the world's major centers of finance, diplomacy, commerce, culture, fashion, and gastronomy. For its leading role in the arts and sciences, as well as its early and extensive system of street lighting in the 19th century, it became known as the City of Light. Paris city ranks ninth highest in cost of living in the world. Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris is the third busiest airport in Europe. Paris has the second busiest metro system in Europe after the Moscow Metro. Paris is especially known for its museums and architectural landmarks. The Louvre received 7.8 million visitors in 2022, keeping its position as the most visited art museum in the world. Paris was the center of an explosion of philosophic and scientific activity known as the Age of Enlightenment. In the summer of 1789, Paris became the center stage of the French Revolution. It was a time of social and political upheaval in France and its colonies that began in 1789 and ended 10 years later in 1799. A legacy of the Age of Enlightenment, the motto, liberty, equality, fraternity, became the motto of the French Revolution. On July 14, 1789, the Paris mob, hungry due to a lack of food from poor harvests, upset at the conditions of their lives and annoyed with their king and government, stormed the Bastille fortress, and the royal family remained virtual prisoners in the Tuileries, the official residence of the king. In 1793, as the revolution turned increasingly radical, King Louis XVI, his queen Marie Antoinette, were beheaded by guillotine along with more than 16,000 others throughout France. The property of the aristocracy and the church was nationalized, and the city's churches were closed, sold, or demolished. A succession of revolutionary factions ruled Paris until 9th November 1799, when Napoleon Bonaparte, in a coup, seized power. This marks the end of the French Revolution and the start of the Napoleonic era. Napoleon began erecting monuments to military glory, including the Arc de Triomphe, and this is the first monument we are going to see this morning. Now our local lady guide, an Indian settled in Paris, will take over. Hi friends, we are now at the Arc de Triomphe site.
English will be okay.
Better? Okay. Okay, so welcome to Paris. Now, I have a lot of things to tell you. But first of all, we start from the place we are at. This is the Arc of Triomphe. As you get to know from the name itself, triumph means celebration, victory. So this is the victory gate of Napoleon Bonaparte. You see on the left pillar, that is Napoleon Bonaparte. Yeah? The man standing and a lady holding a crown on it. You see that France was a monarchy till 1789. And as it happens that the kings and queens, they were like super rich, and the people were poor. Normal people were poor, almost like poor. So they all revolted and brought the French Revolution in 1789. And at that time, Napoleon was an important leader. And he became so powerful after the French Revolution that he crowned himself as the self-proclaimed Emperor of France. And at that time, he was involved in a lot of battles all over Europe, in Africa. He wanted to go to India, but his forces were so large. So at that time, he won 128 battles. So to celebrate all those victories, he built this Arc of Triumph. And this is the victory gate. Why here? Because these were the city limits at that time. Now you can see city has spread quite a lot. Now Napoleon commissioned this arc in 1806. But it took 30 years to build, so it was only ready in 1826. So Napoleon has actually never got it. Because Waterloo in 1815. And then, the French people, they did not like him because they had sacred monarchy. So finally in 1815, when he lost the Battle of Waterloo, he was captured and he was exiled from France. He was sent away to a small island, St. Helena, in the Atlantic Ocean, where he died in 1821. And it's only 19 years after his death that finally he was brought back to France. I will show you later where he was buried. But though it's his victory gate, but it became a very important place for the commemoration ceremonies of all the armed forces. So every evening here, 6 o'clock, there is a ceremony every evening. Also the Republic Day of France is the 14th of July, so the Republic Day parade also starts from here. Also you see that a lot of war scenes on the ark, a lot of names and graves on the ark of the important parties. There are 280 steps to go up. Yeah. So now the weather is not great. Otherwise, a lot of people.
The Arc de Triomphe, or the Arch of Triumph, is one of the most famous monuments in Paris, France. The Arc de Triomphe honors those who fought and died for France in the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars, with the names of all French victories and generals inscribed on its inner and outer surfaces. Beneath its vault lies the tomb of the unknown soldier from World War I. The Arc of Triumph has set the tone for public monuments with the triumphant patriotic messages. The Arc de Triomphe has an overall height of 164 feet, width of 148 feet, and a depth of 72 feet. The Arc de Triomphe is located on the right bank of the river Seine. The Arc de Triomphe is an iconic symbol of French national identity and took 30 years to build. The Tour de France bicycle race ends near it each year, and the annual military parade marking July 14th, known both as French National Day and Bastille Day, begins its journey at the arch. Napoleon commissioned the Triumphal Arch in 1806 to celebrate the military achievements of the French armies. Construction of the arch began in 1806 on August 15th, that is Napoleon's birthday. Little more than the foundation had been completed by the time of his marriage to the Austrian Duchess Marie Louise in 1810. And the work was completed in 1836 during the reign of King Louis Philippe, who opened it officially on July 29th.
Like Dubai. But when you come here, you see it's an old city. It is an old city. It's a very historic city. Each nook and corner has a special history. And everything that you see here is really, really old. I think monuments and buildings, 300, 500, 800,000 years old. Everything is very old. And they are very proud of their history and they maintain it very well. Even look at the road we are driving on. You see this cobble road? These sort of cobble roads we used to have when we have horse carriages and all. But they have maintained this in the touristic area to maintain that old historic look of the city. And this is very good because despite the fact that France, had gone through so many wars, especially the Second World War, when France was under the Nazis. Hitler was ruling it, and he had ordered the destruction of all these important monuments and artifacts. But luckily, his subordinates, they did not follow, and that is why everything is intact, and then the whole world comes to see. And it's the most visited place on earth. 35 million people come to Paris every year as tourists, and in whole of France, 100 million people come. So you are the most important area of the country. The population of full France is 6 crore 70 lakhs. Paris city, 25 lakhs, but with the outskirts and suburbs, it's almost 1 crore. So you can imagine that 6 crore 70 lakhs in the whole country and 1 crore in this 30-40 kilometers. So how thickly populated, congested and expensive it must be. We see these big buildings from outside, but inside is divided into very small parts and very expensive. Now we are on the most expensive, most famous avenues of the country, Champs-Élysées. If you read in English, you will read Champs-Élysées, because French language, what you read, you don't write, and what you write, you don't pronounce it that way. So look on the right, you see this is a very famous French brand, Louis Vuitton, and it's their biggest store in the world on the right hand side. And you see there is always a queue to go inside. You see that? You know that everything, even a 20 centimeter purse is in lakhs, the cost. And there was a queue, always a queue to go inside. And all this avenue, Champs means fields, because till the 18th century these were fields here. And Élysée comes from a Greek word that means a place for the rich and famous to come and enjoy, for the big heroes to come and elite people to come and enjoy. So this avenue was made for the rich and famous. To guess how many people stay permanently in these 2 kilometers? Only 18 people stay in these 2 kilometers.
My God.
Because it is too expensive for anybody to afford it. So it's only big showrooms, big hotels, restaurants, and only 18 people permanently living here. Don't ask me who they are. They do not want to disclose. They keep it a secret. They are rich people. So now you see French guests. You see a lot of restaurants here. Now French gastronomy is very famous in the world. French cuisine, but mostly you see 99.9% French people are non-vegetarian. So they are big, in all meals they eat non-veg. So big non-veg eaters, big drinkers, big smokers, big everything. Ladki baaj, big ladke baaj, everything. So all the fun things are there. Now you see this avenue, the Champs-Élysées. So this is the Republic Day parade, goes through here and ends at the, in front of us, the Concord Square. That's where the president takes salute of the Republic Day parade. Now here the president is the most important person of the country, not the prime minister. And since 6 years now, it's Emmanuel Macron who's the president here. Now here the president can be elected 2 times, 5 years maximum. And on the left hand side, these gardens that you see, just behind there is the Élysée Palace. That's where whoever is the French president, he lives. And it's Emmanuel Macron. And he, 6 years ago, he became the youngest president of France. He was 39 years old. And I don't know if you remember that he, fell in love with his teacher, and he married his teacher. So his wife is 25 years older than him. So right now he is 45 years and his wife is 70 years old. And when she married him, she already was grandmother from her first marriage. And her first-born son is older than her current husband. So like they say, love is blind,
Yeah.
Love is blind, but in his case is blind, deaf, dumb, everything. But the good thing is that what? Everybody has a chance here. No discrimination.
Yeah.
So now as we turn right, you see these 2 beautiful palaces. Grand Palace on the right with a full glass rooftop. And just on the other side, the Petit Palace. Petit means small, Grand means big. We call them palaces on the right hand, but they are actually exhibition halls. These 2 halls were built here because in the year 1900 there was a big international exhibition that was taking place in Paris, and that's why they built these 2 exhibition halls. And now also they have a lot of fashion shows, exhibitions, and so many events that are held here. But right now, the Grand Palace on the right, that is totally under renovation. Now you see, I told you it's an old historic city, so anyway it needs a lot of renovation all the time. But you see a lot more right now, because you see next year in 2024, Paris is hosting the Olympic Games. So for that also, a lot of renovation is going on, and of course because of the pandemic, things are a bit behind schedule. So right hand side Grand Palace, left hand side Petit Palace, the exhibition halls. Now you see, Paris city is based around this beautiful river called Seine, Seine, and we are just going to cross that. It's the second longest river of France. It's almost 800 kilometers long, and we are crossing from the, we'll be soon crossing from the right bank to the left bank of the river. And in the city of Paris, we have 22 bridges connecting both banks. This was also built in the year 1900, and this is called Alexander Bridge. It's named after the Russian Tsar Alexander III. And you see these beautiful lamps, on the side, and also you will see at the Concord Square, very beautiful golden green lamps, the street lamps. And you see, once upon a time, Paris was called the City of Lights. Why so? Because this was the first city in the world to have street lighting. And they were using first the fire torches, mashal, then it was with oil, then the street lighting was by gas, and then finally by electricity. But the best thing is they have maintained the same beautiful lamp post. So history is so important. And you see, in the city as you are going around, you see the symmetry is very important to French architecture. You see almost similar looking buildings, same height, and the only tallest building in the city is the Eiffel Tower, which was built in 1889 to celebrate the 100 years of France becoming a republic. I told you 1789, the country, French Revolution happened, and 100 years later they wanted to celebrate the republic. So they commissioned the Eiffel Tower. Now Eiffel Tower, when it was built in 1889, it was the highest building in the world at that time, 300 meters. Later on they added those TV antennas and weather antennas on it, so it's total 330 meters high. Now other than the Eiffel, the only other tall building you see on the left hand side, that is the Montparnasse Tower. That was built in 1973. So we on the right, we stopped 5 minutes only here. So that big building, Montparnasse Tower, that you see on the left hand side, now only tall building in 1973 it was added. And the Parisians found it very ugly. They also call it the middle finger of Paris. Yeah. So they decided in 1973, no high-rise new style buildings will be made in the city. Whatever they need to make should be outside. So I showed you at the Arc, I showed you outside the city, long high-rise new style buildings. That's why everything new style is outside. And this whole city is historic. Now in front of us, this big building that you see, now this is an army museum. Before it used to be an army hospital. It is called Invalids. As the word says it all, invalid means handicapped, hurt, disabled. So till the 20th century, so we stopped here. Till the 20th century, this was an army hospital. So many injured soldiers and battles were going on. So this could take up to 4,000 to 6,000 soldiers, and they were like, it's a luxurious hospitals before, but then they converted into a museum, and now it's an army museum. And the golden dome that you see, that is made of pure gold. That is the church in the same premises, and that is made of 5,55,000 gold leaves, the dome. Now it is under this golden dome that Napoleon Bonaparte is buried. I told you that Napoleon was exiled in 1815. And he was sent to St. Helena Island, where he died in 1821. And it is only 19 years later, finally in 1840, that his coffin was brought back to France and he was buried here. So if you want a quick 5 minutes photo just to get down, so you have from this side only, from the footpath, a picture of the Invalids and the bridge and the Grand Palace. So please be back in 5 minutes. Thank you.
in the house of lay invalids, there is also a church built in the 17th century meant exclusively for the royal family. Below the glittering golden dome of the church is Napoleon's tomb. The pinnacle at the top of the dome reaches 351 feet, and the gliding includes 550,000 thin leaves of gold, that is 12.5 kilograms of gold.
Architect Gustav Eiffel, he was a big engineer and architect. He had a big company. They were making a lot of buildings and bridges all over the world. So now when they now just behind the Eiffel there is this long garden, Champ de Mars. That's where the 100-year celebrations were held, the exhibition. And Eiffel Tower was the entrance gate to that exhibition. So when they they made the project, Gustav Eiffel gave it for 300 meters high, highest building in the world. But the government said we only have money for 100 meters, make 100 meters. But he said no, I'm going to make the highest building in the world 300 meters. So government said no, we don't have money. If you have money, you make from your money. So he said okay, he was rich. So he invested 6 million French francs of his own at that time. Why French francs? Because since 2000 France became part of European Union, and that is why from 2002 we are using euro currency. Before it was French francs, the currency here. So the 6 million French francs of that time is about 80 million US dollars of today. And he invested it and he said, I'm going to fix the ticket price myself. So when the Eiffel opened, the ticket price that he fixed was a French person's 1 month's salary, the ticket, and that was huge. But still, it became so famous, it became the wonder of the world, that so many visitors came, he recovered all his investment in just 1 year. And after that, he was minting money, you can imagine. So the government said, oh, we let go of this minting machine. So they put a case on Eiffel and they took Eiffel back from him. But they promised him, till the Eiffel is standing, we will give you and your descendants 2% of the proceeds of the Eiffel. So till now, the proceeds 2% go to his descendants. And total Eiffel Tower, 18,000 iron pieces were constructed outside the city of Paris in 4 years and assembled in just 2 years, 2 months and 5 days with 25 lakh rivets. So it was a huge wonder of this world. Like 300 workers were working full time, 6 days a week, because till then religion was still important, so Sunday was off to go to church. And 300 making this wonder of the world, double pay and very skilled workers. Would you like to guess how many people died making the Eiffel Tower?
No idea.
Nobody died making the Eiffel Tower. That's the best part. And the first person to die on the Eiffel was, soon after its opening, there was this young man who came with his girlfriend, and he proposed marriage to her. And she actually accepted. And he jumped with joy so much that he didn't fall off the tower, but he fell off the stairs and he died. So that was the first person, sadly, to die on the Eiffel, It's funny also, but very sad also. So we go right, yeah. And now the whole Eiffel Tower is made of iron. So that's why we also call it the Iron Lady. It's standing on 4 pillars, east, west, north and south. There are 3 levels. Now there are double-decker express lifts. People can go up in a few seconds. But when it was built, there were no lifts, only 1,665 steps to go till the top. And you have a lovely 360-degree view of the city and suburbs from the Eiffel. Every 7 years it's painted, and it takes 3 years to paint it with 60 tons of paint, because only 25 painters hand painted with 1,500 brushes and 60 tons of paint in 3 years. After the visitors go back, after 1 a.m. in the night. So, and every time they change the color, before it was red also, yellow also, now you see that yellow-brown color. So on the right hand side here, you see this is the National Assembly of the country, like we have the parliament in New Delhi. So this is kind of like the parliament here. So this is the National Assembly of France on the right. You see the French flag, blue, white and red. You also see the blue flag with the yellow golden stars on it. That's the European Union flag. I told you that it's part of the European Union. Also you see, as we turn left now and we once again cross the Seine River from this other bridge, we are going to the most important, biggest squares of the country, that is the Concorde Square. Now this is the square from where the French Revolution started in 1789, and at that time it was named Revolution Square. And at that time there was a guillotine installed here. You know, guillotine, where they would bring the people and chop off their heads. Not hang, cut, behead them. Because whoever went against the revolution, did not participate in the revolution, they would be publicly brought here and head cut off, chopped off, beheaded. So in less than 2 years, more than 2,000 people were beheaded here, including the king at that time, Louis XVI king, and his wife Marie Antoinette Queen. Yeah, so they were also publicly beheaded. Yeah, that square on the left. We are just going there. So then, of course, you know, afterwards, when the revolution was over, they did not want to remember all the atrocities that happened here, and that is why they removed the guillotine and they renamed it from Revolution Square to Concorde Square. And then to beautify, you see that obelisk pillar, that needle-like pillar on the square. Do you see that?
Yes.
So that is
pillar.
not an ordinary pillar. It is really, really old, more than 3,300 years old.
Oh.
And it has been gifted by Egypt to France. It's coming from their ancient temples of luxury, from the ruins of temples of luxury, and they have brought it here and installed it to beautify the square. Also, you will see, now you know that till the 28th in France there was World Cup rugby going on. So that is why they had made a village here. Now they are taking it off to hold some events and for the World Cup rugby. Now they are taking it off. Otherwise it's a big square. And you see on the left hand side, on the right hand side, these big statues, ladies statues. All around the square there are 8 statues of ladies. These 8 statues are depicting the 8 important cities of France, like Lyon, Marseille, Bordeaux, Lille. In a female form, I told you it's a motherland. Also you see these beautiful lamps, the green and golden ones. You see these are from the 1800. So I told you, no, they have changed the way they light up the thing, but the lampposts are the same. So that is the importance of history years. They maintain it so nicely. On the right hand side you see those are Tuileries Gardens. Those were the royal gardens. Just next to it is the Louvre, which was the royal palace, and now it is the most famous, most visited museums of the world. In front of us on the left hand side, that big building that you see, that is a very famous 5-star hotel, Crillon. Now you see that used to be a small palace for the queens earlier. Then later on it was converted into a hotel, and it's a famous hotel, Crillon. Now in this hotel, the smallest room is 2,000 euros per night. The biggest room is 10,000 euros per night. Look on the left. A lovely view of the Champs-Élysées.
Hello. Please.
So this beautiful hotel, like I said, 10,000 euros per night for the biggest room here. Who wants to stay?
Does anyone stay?
Yeah, it's always full.
If there is any sponsors, then we can see.
So in front of us, you see that big building coming up. That's a pillared building. It is called Madeleine Church. Now you see Mary Madeleine. She was a very important disciple of Jesus Christ, who saw his crucifixion when he was hanged on the cross, and his resurrection also when he came alive again, and then he ascended to heaven. So that is why we have the church here of Mary Madeleine, as she was important disciple. And 52 pillars are surrounding this church. Now these 52 pillars are representing the 52 weeks of the year. On the left hand side, a very famous French gastronomy restaurant, Maxim's. It's a Michelin star restaurant. The meal starts from 500 euros. can go up to 3,000 euros depending on per person, depending on what you eat and drink. Now, you see, basically France is a Christian country. It was before also and now also. But things have really changed drastically here. Now people do not believe here in religion anymore. So you see that in France now only 1% of Christians are going to church on Sundays. And because of that, as there is no people following and no donations coming, the religion is in a very sad state here. And in France, 4,000 churches are on sale because they cannot, maintain them, because these are beautiful historical monuments. They need a lot of money, and as not many people are going, no donations, so they cannot maintain, and they are selling it to be used as something else, as an office or a house or whatever. So that's the sad state of religion here. Also, you see a lot of shopping all around now. Paris, France is the 5th or 6th richest country in the world. It is famous for so many things, like first of all, of course, tourism,
Fashion.
then fashion capital of the world, for food, like for wines, for cheese, for perfumes, for
Wine.
armaments, aeroplanes. So it's famous for so many things, and that makes it the 5th richest country in the world. And now people are paying here taxes between 25 to 75%. The millionaires have to pay 75% tax, and nobody can cheat on taxes. Everybody has to pay. And the good thing is, because there is no corruption, whatever taxes the people are paying, the government is giving it back to them by a lot of public services. I'll give you a few examples of those services. Like here, first of all, education is compulsory till 16 years, and that's why 100% education is there. And it is free for everyone. Now 99% children here go to free government schools and colleges. And when we say government, the standard does not fall. It is at best international standards. All things of government, be it school, college, hospital, everything. So education is free, compulsory till 16 years. And the best part that I like here, everybody is considered equal and everyone is given equal opportunity. Now, nobody is high class, low class here, nobody is rich or poor, no job is big or small, nobody can be disrespected or discriminated. Everybody is considered equal. And equal opportunity, how? See, when the children go to school, it's irrespective of the income of the parents. Like the parents might be earning 5,000, 10,000, or jobless, not earning at all. But all children are getting the same education, same food, same activities. So at one level, everybody is equal. Then later on what they do is up to them, but equal opportunity is provided. Then 55% of medical reimbursement is given by the government to everyone. Balance 45%, it is compulsory for everyone to take medical insurance. So everybody is fully covered for any sort of health problem. By chance somebody doesn't have a job, cannot pay the insurance premium, the government will pay it for them. If somebody doesn't have a job for 1 year, 20 years, 10 years, doesn't matter, government will keep on giving them some aid every month, 1,500 euros, 2,000 euros, depending on the family situation and dependence. And they will take care. So whatever are the comforts of life, like education, medical facilities, food, house, all these are granted by the government here from the tax money that people pay to. Everybody has a right to ask the government for that. But still you see sometimes beggars here. It's not because the government is not helping them. It's just that they don't care. People. Now the thing is, there are a lot of merits here, but now because of that, some demerits also are there, because you see people here, everybody is independent. More than 85% women are also working women. Nobody is compromising or staying together. People have become very selfish and alone. and people drink and take drugs and they come to the road, and government gives them help, but they don't care, they come back. So that's why you do see beggars and all that here because of these reasons. Also because a lot of immigrants try and come here, so they are also party to it. And here you see that these days there is no fashion of getting married anymore. 70% of the people live in relationships. Till they are happy, they stay together, then separate. The balance 30% who do get married, in them it's 50% divorce rate. So you can understand that nobody is, living together or getting married. Also, people don't like to have children. Life is very expensive here, and nobody wants responsibilities. So, but they love to have pet dogs and cats.
Yeah, of
Not to have children, but pet dogs and cats are very welcome.
Where they spend more.
Yeah, and by just one child family, the average you can see. By mistake, if you do see a family with 2-3 children, never try to match their face or color, because we don't know it's from the 1st, 5th or 10th. if they know. That is. So, things are like, we joke in Hindi, we say Ganga ulti beh rahi hai. So things are a bit different. Though there are a lot of good things, but of course, same, when we have merits, we also have demerits at the same time. So now you see a typical architecture. Also you see in France, art, culture, theatre, opera, these things are very famous. And you see one of their theatres coming up on the left. You see that red board, Olympia. This is the oldest theatre of this opera area. And a bit further down you will also see the Opera Garnier. Now, this typical architecture that you see in the whole city, these big French glass windows, a lot of chimneys on the top, and maybe some old TV antennas.
Tu veux t'arrêter? Tu veux faire le tour? Tu veux faire...
No, on va just the TV antennas that you see, they are just there because they are not using since 50 years, but to take them off they need to pay 5,000-6,000 euros, so they just leave it there. Now these big French glass windows, because you see here there is a big difference between the summer and the winter time. Now from November till March the weather is very cold, very windy, gloomy, grey skies, raining, it can snow also sometimes. Temperature can go down to -10 degrees here. Yeah, and days are very short. Like the day will be out at 9 in the morning, by 5 it's dark. But April onwards, spring season, and especially in summers, days are very long. May, June, July, August, here the day is out at 5 in the morning, and 10:30 in the night we have sunshine.
Oh my God.
So even the street lights are on only after 10 p.m. So very long days. And when whole this city was made, there was no electricity. And that is why they wanted to profit the long hours of the daylight. And that is why this concept of big French glass windows that you find. And likewise, there was no electricity. So when it's very cold, so now it's centrally heated. But before, to keep it warm, they had these fireplaces everywhere. So many chimneys on top you see. But of course now, because of safety reasons, these fireplaces are only decorative. One cannot use it. Yeah. So we'll be turning right, but on the left hand side you will see the most important and famous opera house of the country. It's called Opera Garnier. We will go right, but quickly on the left you will see. Though what you will see, the whole facade is just a poster, because that is under renovation. So they have just on the left, look, the Opera Garnier, named after its architect Charles Garnier. Now this is whole a poster, huh? It's a 3D poster, looks very real, right?
Yes.
So Opera Garnier is the most famous luxurious opera houses of the country. The most important operas are held here. Very luxurious decoration, maybe you have seen in some films also, our Indian films also, and for sure in American Hollywood films, Paris or France is a favorite destination for shooting. Like every second, third film, France, something from France is there for sure. So that was the Opera Garnier. A lot of shopping all around. That is like everywhere in the city, a lot of shopping. Now we have been lucky that we have been driving quite nicely, because you see Normally it's a very old city. When the whole city was built, there was no vehicles. But later on, when the vehicle came, there were no place. So the government built a lot of underground parkings, but it's not enough. And that is why 60% of the Parisians, they don't have cars because they have no parking. Parking in the city for cars cost 6 to 10 euros per hour. For a bus like ours, it's 50 euros per hour.
Okay.
So very expensive, and if you are ready, even if you're ready to pay, they don't find parking. So that is why 60% of the people don't own cars here, and that is why the government has provided. See, it's an old city. Government has provided a great network of public transportation by way of underground, overground metros, suburban trains, buses and tramways. Now 95% is underground metro and only 5% overground. That's why we don't see. Every 150 meters or 200 meters there is a metro stop. And it is the fastest, cheapest and the most ecological way to travel in the city and suburbs. The underground metro, like you can see one coming up here on the right. The underground metro of Paris city is 123 years old. From the year 1900 we have underground metro. So it's a huge network and really the best way to travel in the city and suburbs. And that's why a lot of people also use cycles because at times when there is too much rush, then it's faster to go by cycle and you can just put it freely, park it anywhere, and it's good for the health and then also no pollution. So it's a win-win thing. That's why a lot of people in Europe use a lot of cycles. So we get down somewhere. Yeah. Okay. On the right hand side. And now we are going to go quickly. We'll be going to the Louvre. Please follow me. And then we'll come back to the bus in 15 minutes because then you have to go to lunch and then to the airport. So I'll give you some explanation inside about the Louvre and then you'll have 5 minutes for photo. Yeah, from Delhi. Yeah, my husband is also Indian. He's from Bombay, but he's living here now since 40 years. So he came long back.
The last item on our itinerary for the day was a visit to the Louvre. The Louvre Palace is an iconic French palace located on the right bank of the Seine in Paris, occupying a vast expanse of land. The Louvre's history starts around 1190 with its first construction as a castle. Most parts of the current buildings were constructed in the 17th and 19th centuries. The Louvre, as we know, was formerly used as a defensive castle and as a royal palace, now mostly used as a national art museum. The museum was opened on 10th August 1793 with an exhibition of 537 paintings. The Mona Lisa painting is one of the most emblematic portraits in the history of art, which is located at the Louvre. Painted by Leonardo da Vinci in the 16th century, it joined the collections of the court of France before being added to the works on display at the Louvre Museum. The present-day Louvre Palace is a vast complex of wings and pavilions, which, although superficially homogeneous in scale and architecture, is a result of many phases of building, modification, destruction, and reconstruction. Its apparent stylistic consistency is largely due to conscious efforts of architects over several centuries to echo each other's work and preserve a strong sense of historical continuity mirroring that of the French monarchy and state.
1200, so it's almost like 900 years ago. And you see that different kings built it over 800 years, but still the French architecture symmetry is so important. They all built in the similar fashion, so it doesn't look that it has been built separately for 800 years. And you see this whole roof is not just this, also this much behind. Also you see where we are standing, all this open area, below us also 3 levels of museum, parking and mall. Now you see that Tuesday, and that's the only day off for people have come for photo, not to visit. Now you see that this is the glass pyramid. This is the new addition. This was added in 1989 when it was 200 years of France becoming a republic. They made this new entrance of the Louvre, and they also made a new opera house, Bastille, from a few kilometers from here. Now you see the Louvre. This, like I said, this was the royal palace till the 17th century. Then Louis XIV, the king at that time, this is in the city center. He was always afraid that the revolutionaries will come and attack us. That's why he built it outside another palace. Very luxurious palace, more than 2,000 people. Palace of Versailles. And they moved there because at that time, either people are coming by horse or walking. So they need a few days to get there. Then by that time they are prepared for the attack. But here not. So that's why we should be there. And they had a lot of artifacts, things they have looted or discovered or been visited by a lot of
Thank you.